Let's do this.
Come on, man. I knew I forgot something. Oh man. All right. Let's go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Daily Devotion with Beez. I'm your host, Beez the Chaplain. And as you may notice, I've got a bit of a pineapple head action going at the moment. Yesterday I got myself a haircut. Now, you might not notice this, and this has nothing to do with the actual devotion itself. But this is a fade. I got a fade, but I said to the barber, and hats off to this barber. Once again, Tommy Guns, if you ever want to sponsor me, hit me up, because I always shout out Tommy Guns, but they don't care. Anyway, so the barber comes, I said to the barber, hey, my hair grows quickly. So I need you, I want to do a skin fade. But what I'm asking is, I want you to do a 00 to a half, right? And you're probably thinking, well, what's the point? There are 3 steps, right? There's 00, 0, then half, right? So there's 3. So there's a slight gradient. But by the time he started, it was like, nah, that's just bold. There's nothing there. But he was constantly changing blades. So that's how I knew he was doing what I asked him to. Because sometimes barbers are like, no, you're not gonna see it. So I'm just gonna. They won't tell me that they're not gonna do it. They just won't. They'll just do it the way they want. I'll see the fade, and the problem is, when I go to the barber, I have to wear my glasses. I have to take off my glasses, right? So I'm just trusting that they're doing what I've asked them to do, which is a skin fade. Because my hair grows long, I don't mind, right, not having it look awesome as soon as I get out of the barber. I just want it to, not have to come the next day because my hair's grown quickly. And, I'm grateful that my hair grows quickly, but when I go to get a cut, I hope the person understands that. But some barbers are like, no, I'll do it to make it look good. So I think last time I cut my hair was 3 weeks ago. Anyway, this guy listened to me. And even though I can tell, as soon as I couldn't see from the fade, I couldn't see what he was doing, but he was just changing the blades constantly. So I knew he was fading it up. Because other times when the other barbers do it, by the time it's finished, I look at it, I can see, but I'm like, well, I'm not going to get the guy to do the fade all over again, but shorter, because he didn't listen to me the first time. So I'll do it again. I'll just do it. I'll just pay and go. Yesterday, the guy did it. He listened to me. And then after it was done, I said, this is exactly what I wanted. Even though you might not like it, I'm saying to this guy, even though you might not like it, I appreciate it, because eventually when my hair grows out, it'll grow out in a fade. So I don't mind now that I look like a pineapple head right now, because eventually when my hair starts to grow, it'll grow with a fade. So it'll look a bit better. It won't just take 2 weeks. I'll have about 6 weeks worth of, fade before I do it again. That's what I wanted. And then the guy comes up and he's like, hey, look, to be honest with you, I'm new and I'm not very good. In my head, I'm like, yeah, thanks for telling me after the fact. But he's like, but the thing that I do is I listen to the customer and I try and do exactly what they asked me to do. And I said, and that's what you did, bruh. So thank you so much. So yeah, now I've got a bit of a pineapple head going. I actually like it. I like the craziness at the top and then the lightness on the side. So I'm pretty chill with it. So that's why I look a little different. I'll go into the devotion now, because it's like show and tell. Today, I'm not one for object lessons sometimes. I'm one for illustrations maybe, but object lessons aren't my thing. I'm not as creative, I think, in that space. But today I got an object lesson. And the title of this morning's devotion is, Are We Still All Things? Are we still all things? And I'm going to go straight to the Bible passage, because usually I'll ramble. And then I don't even end up, saying the Bible passage. So I'm going to read the Bible. No. I'll just forget about it. I don't want to do that. So this is what the Bible passage is. The question, today's topic is, are we still all things? The Bible passage is 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 19 to 23. Pardon me. I like reading a bit more of a chunk rather than just the one verse. So it kind of gives that context around it. And this is Paul. And Paul is saying this. He says this: though I am free and I belong to no man, I make myself a slave to everyone to win as many as possible. To the Jews, I become like a Jew to win the Jews. To those under the law, I become like one under the law, though I myself am not under the law, so as to win those under the law. To those not having the law, I become like one not having the law, though I'm not free from God's law, but I am under Christ's law, so as to win those not having the law. To the weak, I become weak to win the weak. I have, and this is where the passage really speaks, I have become all things to all men, so that by all possible means I might save some. I do all things for the sake, I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I may share in its blessings. Verse 22, to the weak I become weak to win the weak. I have become all things to all men, so that by all possible means I might save some. Now, yesterday, you're probably thinking, okay, Beez, you're contradicting yourself, because yesterday you were like, well, you shouldn't really say I am going to win the souls because it's not my job. 100%, I still back the statement that I made. That's God's job. But when we have an experience of God, yesterday I said, let's make sure we have this connection first before we go out. For me, now that we have this, how do we do this, right? And this is where Paul is saying, well, the way I'm going to do this, I'm not saying, I'm teaching Paul, I'm trying to explain Paul, but what I'm understanding from Paul is, I've got this. I'm solid on this. This is how I'm going to go out and do the next part, which is love the world. I've loved God. God loves me. I'm saved by grace. I have that. I'm celebrating salvation found in Him. I'm set. How do I go and share that? He says, I'm going to be all things to all men. That's why I'm coming back to the passage, or that's why I'm asking the question, are we still all things? This is where the object lesson comes in. Sorry for the sound, but I had like some styrofoam because this is framed, right? Because this was, and I'm going to say was, a massive achievement of mine. Oh, I nearly threw it away. Okay, I present to you, wait, can you all see it? I present to you my first degree. It says this, in the name of Bernard Dioget, having fulfilled all the requirements, has this day been admitted to Bachelor of Computing. Bachelor of Computing. What's very important for us to remember is Beez, not that Beez completed a degree in computer studies or computing, majoring in network and data communications. No. What is important about this is to realize that this qualification, I received that in 2007. This is where it gets interesting. The reason why it was Mr. Scholar. Good morning, Washe. Hey, man. Shout out to Washe. Yeah, Mr. Scholar. No, listen to this, Washe. I got that in 2007. You know why that's interesting? Because in 2007, the groundbreaking technology that we were learning was Bluetooth. The ideas that we were thinking about and we were studying as potential ideas was Wi-Fi. Now everything is Wi-Fi. Everything is data. Bluetooth has nearly become redundant, right? Because everything is data-based, right? I graduated in computing. It took me 7 years to do a 3-year degree. That's, But now everything, I would say 110% of that entire degree is obsolete and redundant. It means nothing. There is no value in that. And you're probably thinking, well, Beez, it's not all bad. Yeah, 100%. It gave me a hex debt. No, I'm just kidding. What it did give me was it used its purpose for its season, right? It got me a great opportunity. It got me into the door to work for Getronics, which became UXC Connect, which is a multinational or an international organization that provides IT solutions. It got me into training and development. It got me into people management. It opened a lot of doors for me, but that degree served its purpose for that season, done and dusted. It is now irrelevant, obsolete, and redundant. This is useless now. It's a great memory, it's a great sentiment, but it no longer has useful value. right? Are we still all things? Are we still all things? Now, please, this is a disclaimer. I'm challenging, or for me, I'm questioning the idea in regards to how we do this, how we do outward love. How do we do this? Because Paul's like, I'm going to be all things to all men. He's not saying, I'm just going to be a prayer warrior to everyone. He is a prayer warrior. He prays for people. He encourages people, but that's not all he does. You know, he says, I have chosen to be this person to that person in that season for their journey. I love that. I love the idea that our church, our bigger church, right, universe, like the global church, we were really innovative. And what I mean by that, it's we were trailblazers. We weren't copycats. We were trailblazers. And what I love about it, it wasn't based on church. It wasn't this idea that was, okay, we're just the church and we just meet up on Saturday or Sunday and we just come together and worship. No. They said, we see a need out there. We see that people need this. We're going to meet them at their needs, where they're at for their journey. An example of this, I've got 3. It's very evident when it comes to health, right? Like a hospital that's near us is, what's it called? Is St. Vincent de Paul Hospital, right? It's not this idea of the church saying, oh, are you sick? I'm going to pray for you. No. It's not only I'm going to pray for you, but the mind that God has given us, the ideas, the innovation, it was, okay, so we're going to create a hospital so we can address the needs of the sick and we will pray for them. It's not exclusive. It's not if or it's not this or that. It's this and that. We will pray for them and we will meet them. You want a doctor? We will provide doctors. With a Christian foundation, we will show you the love of Jesus Christ. We will be trailblazers in this and we'll provide health. We'll provide that. You know, and churches have done that. Like many churches have done that. Another one is education, right? I'm a school chaplain, right? I love the idea of education. And it's this thing of, oh, you know, my son, my daughter, you know, they want a really good education. So the church goes, oh, we'll pray and hope that God gives them a good education as they go. No. The church decides, okay, we're gonna make a school. Right, I say this, and I represent MacArthur Adventist College, Mac for life, by the way. Irrespective of where I'm going, prison, wherever, Mac for life. Shout out to the people at Mac. MVAC, Hills, you know, that's cute, adorable, much love, but Mac for life, guys. Anyway, they were like, education is important. Okay, we're going to build schools. We're going to make schools because we know that there's a need and we're going to address the issue of education. So we're going to take what we have, and not only are we just going to pray for education, but we're going to get teachers. We're going to create a system on a Christian foundation where we will meet the need. And for me, that was that, because I was part of Christian education, Clare Catholic College. Yeah, that was it. I thought there was more. Oh, no. St. Michael's. No, my family went to St. Michael's. I went to Andy Pandy. I was still like in preschool. But St. Michael's Catholic, Clare Catholic High School. And now I'm a chaplain from MacArthur Adventist. So the church wasn't, okay, we're just the church. We're just doing church on Saturday, Sunday. It's no. We're going to be all things to all people. You need a doctor? We will be doctors. You need a teacher? We will be teachers. For me, innovation also came in disaster recovery, disaster management. And when things happen to the world, inevitable things, right? Earthquake, tornado, cyclone, bushfire, all of these things. You have organizations, right? Like Baptist World Aid. Why am I shouting out all these organizations? Because I used to work for them. Transform Aid International. That's what they called at an international level, but local level, they're called Baptist World Aid. They said, okay, you need disaster management, you need disaster recovery, you need, aid, foreign aid, and all this kind of support. We will provide that. We're not just going to pray about it. We're going to create an organization that addresses that need. We are going to be all things to all people in any season, in that circumstance. For me, that was innovation, because the church came together and said, not only are we going to provide, not only are we going to pray, not only are we going to rely on God, but we're going to do it in a way when once this is solid, we're going to do it in a bold way of innovation. A couple more. There's Anglicare, right? Anglicare with aged care, disability care, all of that. What I love about that organization, it's we see the need. We're not just going to pray about it. We're going to be it. We're going to create systems and organizations that provide that. And mind you, there were a number of those ones that I mentioned, like when it came to education, health, and like they were trailblazers. It wasn't a reactive thing. It wasn't, oh, the secular world is doing it, so let's just copy them. And I'm just going to kind of take a bit of a tangent here. A lot of, I would say, not just young people, but a lot of people are seeing when copying is taking place. I'm going to say straight off the bat that when a church does something in a reactive sense, and COVID kind of really brought that to the center, where it was, we have no idea what an online platform is. We have no idea what online streaming is. So let's just do it in a reactive sense. People could notice, right? And I'm not talking about, effort. I'm talking about just quality in comparison, to other things that were happening or other things that were being done in that on that platform. And, sometimes it's cringy. Sometimes it's like, no, you're just copying this. You're just ripping that off. And the idea of innovation seems to have been stripped. So the question is, personally, and I guess as a church, when this is set, what does this look like? And are we still all things? Are we still all things to all people? Because it seems that there was a season where we were innovative. Education, hospitals, schools, retirement villages, what's it called? Disaster recovery, disaster management, international and foreign aid, all of those things. It seemed that the church saw the need, and it wasn't just, I'm going to pray for you. It's, I'm going to do something about it. And as a collective, we said, we're going to be these people for you. Where did it go? And I'm not saying that in okay, it's a rhetorical question, because for me, I think it's still alive, and it's still alive and well. But what I feel, and for me, this is really encouraging. The reason why I say, well, this is the answer to the question. In my opinion, it is still happening, but it's no longer at a company-wide level or a global church-wide level. It's happening on an individual level. It's happening on an individual's level where it's like, okay, I will continue to be all things to all men. When it comes to innovation, when it comes to trailblazing, I am still aware of it. I still see it. And for me, I still celebrate it. And I'm going to actually celebrate a few of them that I have personally experienced, right? The first one, because I want to address a couple of the needs that are evident in the world today, globally, especially in Australia, and especially during COVID. Health in regards to not hospital, but like diet and overall holistic health, which includes mental health as well. And for me, when like after COVID or coming on the tail end, hopefully, out of COVID, out of lockdown and stuff, seeing the destruction that it caused, not just for people getting sick, but for families breaking, people like with things, unfortunately, like suicide rates skyrocketing, domestic violence rates skyrocketing, depression, anxiety, like exponentially skyrocketing. All of these things, what I noticed is that there was a need. And in my head, I'm like, well, what globally, what are we doing? And then for me, what God answered in this season was, Beez, it's happening. It is happening, but don't look at it as at such a big level. Look at it as an individual, like in individual levels, an individual ministry and personal experiences that people are saying, God, I've got this. And in my capacity, in my strength, in my resources, I'm going to do this. And these are a couple of examples. When it comes to mental health, right, I got to do a massive shout out to my brother Rick. He's up in Queensland at the moment, and he's got this idea. Well, he had this idea where it's like, we want to do telehealth. And for me, we've always, for years, we've journeyed together and we've wrestled. Like we've kind of we look at it from different parts. He's a clinical psychologist and I'm a chaplain. I don't know the mental health game. And for him, like he's developing in his personal journey in regards to God and theology and stuff like that. I think when we meet, we kind of balance each other out. It's like, how can we support each other? Because for me, it is foolish for me for someone to come up to me and say, I've got this, and think in my limited understanding in mental health that I'm going to say, oh, you need to do this and give them advice, because I've seen this happen before. And so many people have told me that the advice that was given to them was destructive. And so for me, I'm working with Rick, and Rick has created this organization called the Harvest Clinic. And the Harvest Clinic is built on a foundation of Christ, though he's not allowed to go to the, to the clients and say, you should do Jesus and do all that. His organization is built on Christianity. His organization is celebrating faith. And he's recently kind of brought me on board as this kind of pastoral coach, and because he's wanting to celebrate that as well in the mental health space, so Christ can be evident to those people as well. For me, I see innovation in that, because mental health is being anxiety, depression is being addressed. But it's like, for me, what I'm celebrating or what I appreciate is in it as an individual in Rick, he's doing that. And he's saying, I'm going to be this person. I'm going to be all things, especially in the mental health space. Then there's a couple of other brothers. The next thing, the other one, and sorry, I'm going over time. By the way, I'm not doing one tomorrow, so I'm probably going to use this space for tomorrow's one as well. Another thing for me, which is important and it's great, is health. Dieting and obesity and diabetes and stuff like that. It's massive. I see innovation in that space as well. I see God working through individuals to help in that space. And for me, that's amazing. I've been working alongside, I've been journeying with a brother named Terry. And he's just recently, or he will be launching this thing called Pure Physique. And I know his journey, and I know that he is a man, he has faith, right? And he's going to celebrate that in that space, and encouragement in health, in fitness. And he's doing that. And for me, there's other guys like that. Landry was like that. A shout out to Jeremy with AdFit, right? Understanding that the world is struggling with obesity, diabetes, and all these problems. It's okay. We're not just going to pray about it. We're going to create gyms. We're going to create, physical places where people can be helped in those areas. You got PTs and, people who are going to celebrate God and Christ in those spaces. I still see innovation. The final one I wanted to bring up is another thing that I would say really helps with the young people. And that's this online presence, this streaming, where probably about 5-10 years ago, there was this massive concern saying, YouTube is bad, Instagram is bad, and Twitch and all these kind of things are so bad, because it's just, now what I appreciate, there are people that are using that space, not copying anything, but kind of really creating a space that they can celebrate, honor, and showcase Jesus Christ in those areas. I'll give you an example, and this is not new. This is years back. Smile Without Reason, right? This is Jess. Shout out to Jess. Your stuff is amazing. She wrote this blog. She started writing, and then she started doing some posts and stuff. And she used that space. She used that platform to celebrate in a unique way. There was innovation. Another one that I've recently joined, there's a community online on Twitch, and it's called God Squad Church. And what they've done is actually they're streamers. They've come together and they've said, we're going to create a church. We're going to create this online church for those who think that who may be struggling with gaming addiction, pornography addiction, loneliness, all of these things. They've created a space in online, and they've said, come to us. They've come together and they've in with their innovation with God. They're not just saying, oh, I'm just going to pray for the people who are addicted to porn. I'm just going to pray for the people who are addicted to gaming. It's we're going to create a space there, in there, being all things to all men. And what I love about it is they're gamers as well. You talk about all things to all men. It's like, yeah, I play games. I play video games, but also I'm celebrating in this space Jesus Christ and salvation found in him, and providing solution and providing support in that space. For me, I see innovation. That's what I wanted to celebrate today. And that's what the word of encouragement for me was. It's just because I may not, and I'm not saying it's not, it's just because I may not be seeing it at a global scale anymore, right? Doesn't mean it's not happening. But when I do see it, it's happening on an individual level, meaning there is hope for me, and there is actually more incentive for me to go and do the same. Because a lot of the time, and I know I'm going way over time here, but a lot of the time we kind of fall back on the thing where my church is doing it. It's okay. My church will do it. Or the church that I'm affiliated with, I'm going to, they'll take care of it. And so God is like, hey, we've done this. What are you doing? Right? What it inspires me to do, as though I might be like absent or naive to what might and might not be happening at a global scale, God is reminding you, saying, hey, Paul is saying, I can be all things to all men as an individual, so go and do the same. It motivates me, encourages me to go and do it. God is saying, I've given you ideas, I've given you creativity as well. Pray for people, but then use that as well to go and be all things to all men. And so it's like, and for me, it's like for the people like us who are like, no, let my church do it. Hey, God is exposing us and saying, you're not doing that anymore. You can't say that anymore. Why? Because I need you to be all things to all men. It's not the church. It's you as an individual. Be innovative, be creative, go and celebrate me in your unique way. So that's my word of encouragement, that God, oh no, I think my Wi-Fi is bad. God is saying, in your unique way, I want you to go out and celebrate being all things to all men. In your unique way, not them, not this, not you. Go and be all things to all men. For me, that gives me a lot of hope, because it's like, you're creative, you're innovative. Go. I've made you that way. Go. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about celebrating more things, like things like God's God Church, things like the Harvest Clinic, things like, Pure Physique, things like Smile Without Reason. I want to continue to celebrate those things, because that's innovation. That's where Christ is using, great ideas, creative ideas, to go into a place where people might not know him, but are in desperate need of him, and showcasing him there. Hey, good morning. Good morning. What's happening? Okay, I'm going to wrap up. I know I've gone way over time. But yeah, I'm going to close in prayer, and I've got a couple of announcements afterwards. So let's pray. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for today. And thank you for reminding us, or reminding me, that innovation is still alive, that we can still, as Christians, be trailblazers in industries and represent you and showcase you and be a light and a beacon of hope in those areas as well. Lord, I pray that we don't necessarily need to be copycats, but we actually, through the creativity you've given us, through the ideas you've given us, and through the calling you've given us, may we go out boldly into the world and showcase and try these new ideas in the hope that others will be drawn closer to you. I pray that you continue to remain at the helm, may remain, the leader, the guider, and the provider of these opportunities, so we don't have to feel that we're doing it on our own, by the power of the Holy Spirit, Lord, continue to transform our lives so that when this is good, when this connection with you is good, and we are called to go out as a response and as a result of our experience with you, may we do it in powerful and innovative ways that we can celebrate because it's part of us as well. Lord, I just pray that you continue to encourage and empower our church, our global church as well, so we can continue to be trailblazers in new spaces. May we be all things to all men. I ask this all in your loving name. Amen. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I went over time. Well, it's not over time. I really don't have a time limit. But yeah, this one was a long one. The reason is, this was also a bit of attitude of gratitude. I gave a few shout outs. I want to continue to give shout outs. So if you need to bounce, it's okay. But I want to give a massive shout out to Boz, to Amanda, to Susie, and all the team at God Squad Church. You guys are doing an amazing ministry. Here I am giving you a shout out all the way from Sydney, Australia. You guys you just finished Waymaker Week, and God is really moving in your community. And I'm glad to be part of it. I'm glad to be, I'm glad to participate in it. I'm glad to kind of experience it. So massive shout out to you guys. Really admire the stuff that you're doing. Also wanted to say massive thank you to everyone who's joined me on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube Live. If you have any questions, or if you have an idea, like maybe a new idea, and you don't know what to do with it, but you feel that God is actually telling you to say, hey, I want you to start doing this, come and reach out to me. I always love hearing new ideas and supporting brand new ideas as well. So if you feel that I don't want to call it ministry, but if you think God is calling you into a space where you're not really, wait, hold on. Okay, guys, sorry, I'm going to have to bounce. Karen just knocked on the door. I think the cleaners are here, so I'm going to have to jet. I'm not going to post tomorrow because I'm going away for a couple of days. The next post that I'm going to be on live will be, I think, Wednesday morning. So Friday is none. Monday and Tuesday won't be. Weekends, I usually don't do anything either. But I'll probably still do a couple of posts and stuff like that. If you need to reach out, use that time. I'm also going to use this time to start trying to brainstorm and, be creative in the merch space. Getting snapbacks done, like those baseball caps. I really want to get them done as gifts for people who have been supporting the streams everywhere. It's not competition. I'll probably make I won't make competitions. Anyway, I'm going to have to bounce, but thank you so much for joining me once again. If you need to reach out to me, message me on any of the streams or find me at www.beezthechaplain.com. I'll see you next Wednesday. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. Peace out. Much love.